If you are an urbanite, you may be familiar with this scene. Come summer, and you find similar scenes in most of our urban localities. If you choose to be a city dweller, you must learn to live with water scarcity. The problem is getting aggravated day by day. The reasons are obvious. Due to the rapid industrialization and migration of people from rural areas, cities have grown phenomenally, leading to enormous increase in the urban population. The municipal authorities are finding it very difficult to provide basic necessities, especially water, to these multitudes. Whether a city rises skywards or spreads horizontally, the demand for water is bound to increase. Addition of one more industry or yet another residential colony to the already strained water supply system of the city will be like the proverbial last straw on the camel's back. When the system fails to cope, individual house owners start rigging up bore wells. In normal conditions, groundwater gets recharged naturally. During the rainy season, the rainwater percolates into the ground and replenishes the water table. A replenished water table provides sustenance to open wells and surface water bodies, and when we have more bore wells, more groundwater is pumped up. More bore wells mean pumping up more groundwater. When it is overexploited, the underground water level drops substantially. Natural recharging of groundwater fails to replenish it. Urbanization has added yet another dimension to the problem. More and more open spaces in towns and cities are getting cemented, concretized or bituminized to form roads, pavements, runways or parking lots. Cemented or bituminized surfaces do not allow runoff rainwater to percolate into the ground. Due to this, the quantum of natural recharge of groundwater gets reduced considerably. As a result, bore wells fail to yield any more water and the open wells go dry. The majority of our urban areas are facing this problem at present. To overcome this problem, the Groundwater Department in Andhra Pradesh has initiated a project to artificially recharge groundwater. Artificial recharge means augmenting the natural percolation of rainwater into the underground formations by man-made methods. The Groundwater Department is implementing this project in collaboration with the Hyderabad Metropolitan Water Supply and Sewerage Board and the Department of Municipal Administration. A simple and low-cost method which can be adopted even by lay people is being popularized to recharge groundwater. In urban areas, large quantities of rainwater gets collected on the rooftops of buildings. Usually, the rainwater collected on the rooftops is allowed, literally, to go down the drain. Instead, this water could be used to augment the groundwater recharge. Digging longitudinal trenches around the buildings will facilitate artificial recharge. 0.5 meter to 1 meter wide and 1 to 1.5 meter deep trenches will be adequate for this purpose. Ideally, the trenches must be filled with 3 layers of permeable material. Pebbles of 40 mm metal can be used to fill the bottom layer. One must see that this layer fills about 50% of the trench. The second layer must be filled with gravel or 20 mm metal. The second layer can fill up to 25% of the space in the trench. The remaining part of the space in the trench can be filled with river sand. The rainwater collected on the rooftop can be allowed to flow into these trenches. These trenches store the rainwater and facilitate percolation of water into the ground. For every 100 square meter rooftop area, a trench with a volume of 6 cubic meters will be sufficient. The annual rainfall in Hyderabad is around 780 millimeters, wherein a rooftop area of 100 square meters can generate an estimated 55,000 litres of additional recharge. This is likely to meet the water requirement of a 5-member family for about 100 days in a year. Recharge pits of 1 meter diameter and 2 to 3 meters depth can also be dug adjacent to buildings. Rainwater collected on the rooftop can be allowed to flow into these pits. Filled with permeable material like pebbles, gravel and sand, these pits will be equally efficient as longitudinal trenches. In Hyderabad, the capital city of Andhra Pradesh, rooftops of several government buildings are being used for harvesting rainwater. This is one such building complex which houses the offices of the Commissioner of Agriculture. Mr. Ajay Kalam, Commissioner of Agriculture, Andhra Pradesh, says,
"We are all concerned about groundwater table depletion all over, and especially in urban areas. Today, in certain pockets of the twin cities, people go as deep as 500 feet in order to strike water. This is mainly because of concretization, which is associated with urban areas. When you concretize the ground available, the surface that is available, it's very difficult for the water to penetrate into the soil and the water table to get charged. Keeping this specific problem in mind, Government of Andhra Pradesh has designed certain schemes and programs, and one of such program is to collect the water, both runoff and rooftop water, through some kind of an infiltration structures. As a part of this program, we started some kind of a demonstration structure in our own office by collecting water from the rooftop.
At the headquarters of the Andhra Pradesh Special Police Battalion, rainwater is being used for artificial recharge through trenches which are in use all round the buildings. Officials of the Groundwater Department are persuading the authorities of educational institutions to adopt this project of artificial recharge through rainwater harvesting. Some institutions like the St. Francis College for Women have already started using the longitudinal trenches for recharging groundwater. Residents of multi-storied buildings are also being encouraged to participate in this project. If you are a resident of a multi-storied building, all you have to do is make the trenches all around your building and then direct the collected rainwater into them. Professor M.V. Naidu, a resident of this apartment house, says,
"We had this problem of water from my own experience as a scientist. That's how we induced the builders to build this recharging system about 2 years back. Last year it was reasonably all right, but then this summer we had a very severe problem. And then soon after the very first rains, we found the water level increased because this recharging system we had developed on both sides of the building and the 2 pits on the front side. And as a result, we had to stop also the tanker supply, and we are now continuing to be self-sufficient with the bore water as per the normal requirements of the complex is concerned."
If you own a single or double-storied house, you can also adopt this method and harvest rainwater. All that you have to do is direct the rainwater collected on the rooftop into the trench through a pipe. If you have a dry bore well on your premises, direct the rainwater into that. it is likely that your dry bore well may start yielding water once again in the near future. Mr. Seshagiri Rao, a house owner, did just that. He says,
The Director Groundwater Department was good enough to depute his team who came and gave a lecture to the residents here. They also gave the leaflets printed in English and Telugu, which gave the details of what should be done in every residential area. After that, we ourselves went there, and the technical personnel, experts of the groundwater department, came to our respective houses. One of those is mine. He came to my house and saw the stormwater drainage system, and advised us where the soak pits should be dug and how they should be dug, at what locations where the water can be trapped. Accordingly, we built two trenches and one pit, with which this was done by us in the month of August. And before that, my bore, which is 10 feet deep, was dry for 2 years. And within 2 weeks after we dug up these trenches, the bore got charged, and today we are mostly depending on the bore. We hardly use a water tanker, on which we used to depend for 2 years almost. We're quite happy with the system, and we feel that scientifically this should be an acceptable system.
if you have sufficient unpaved bare soil or a garden around the building, you can divert the rainwater into it. It will also add to the percolation. Yet another inexpensive method is to direct the rainwater collected on the rooftop into open wells which are in use or abandoned. Rainwater collected at other places normally flows into the storm drains. Instead of that, storm runoff water can also be utilized for recharging groundwater. These waters can be diverted into trenches or pits constructed around parking lots in municipal parks and playgrounds. Dr. Babu Rao, Director, Department of Groundwater, Government of Andhra Pradesh, who initiated this project in the state, says,
Government of Andhra Pradesh also has taken a serious view on the rooftop collection, road top collection and artificial means of methods in urban areas to satisfy the needs of the people. In this direction, our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu, has organized a seminar involving all the departments utilizing the water and also the urban authorities. Looking into the dimensions of the problem, recently Municipal Administration and Urban Development Authority has issued a GO wherein a fresh house plan has to incorporate these rainwater rooftop collection, then only the house plan will be sanctioned. We are taking up these activities, the rooftop collection and road top collections, open area collections, and all these places groundwater will be impounded into the subsurface aquifers by artificial means. The methodology, either pits or the trenches, can be utilized for the recharge of the groundwater, wherein the filter media will be filled in, water will be allowed to percolate into those pits and the trenches, and water will be filtered, and fresh water or the water which is potable for the drinking water standards will be accumulated.
By participating in this project, urban residents will be doing a favor to themselves and to the community. So, conserve rainwater, recharge groundwater, and help yourself.